Welcome to Disciples Ignited YouTube channel, where we focus on Jesus, advance His kingdom, and prepare His disciples. My name is David Fleming, and I want to invite you to join me in these short videos. They're going to be kept less than 5 minutes each, where I share with you a few thoughts from God's Word that I know are going to be helpful to you as you grow as a disciple of Jesus. I know that's your desire. Now, before we get started in our study today, I do want to remind you that I've written a book on discipleship. It's just been released on Amazon. It's called Spirit-Filled Discipleship: How God Calls Christ-Like Disciples. It has some content in it that I really believe is going to be helpful to you as you grow as a disciple of the Lord. So look it up on Amazon. You'll be glad that you did. Now, let's get into our study on the life and ministry of David. In the last video, we talked about how David himself was a shepherd when Prophet Samuel first met him and anointed him the next king of Israel. But it's very interesting on King Saul, when King Saul first met him and had conversed with him in 1 Samuel 17:34, David said to Saul, "Your servant has been keeping his father's sheep." Now, this Hebrew word keeping doesn't mean that he was just kind of watching over them flippantly, just wasting his time. No. This Hebrew word keeping speaks of how David was really taking a responsible stance on taking care of his father's sheep. He was providing for the sheep. He was protecting the sheep. He was really spending personal care and attention to each individual sheep. And that's what makes Psalm 23 so special, because, see, David as a shepherd had insight on what it really meant to be a good shepherd. And that's why he points us to the Lord, who is the ultimate good shepherd. But we also see that David had insight on that a shepherd not only provides or protects and spends individual personal attention on each individual sheep, but he's also going to have to be brave. 1 Samuel 17:34-35, David talking to King Saul, talked about how when a lion or a bear came and carried off a sheep from the flock, I went after it, struck it, and rescued the sheep from its mouth. When it turned on me, I seized it. I seized it by its hair, struck it, and killed it. Now, y'all remember, David is just an adolescent. He's between probably the ages of 14 to 17, but he is already brave and fighting lions and bears for a sheep. Well, that shows how responsible David is. So I tell you what, many people would have looked at David and said, "Oh, why did the Lord stick him out in a field in nowhere's land when he is destined to be a king?" Because the Lord's preparing David for his destiny. In putting David in such circumstances, it is really pressing David to the point he's got to be brave and courageous, because he's going to have to face lions and bears. Because, see, the Lord's preparing him for the day that he one day is going to face a giant. Well, not only was David growing in these characteristics of taking care of sheep and becoming a brave young man, but see, in this time that David was being hidden, he was being hidden by the Lord for a time that he's going to be revealed. But when he is revealed, he's going to be ready to begin to enter into that special season to where his destiny is going to begin to unfold. The Lord's dealing with the same way with some of you. So don't think that your time in nowhere's land is in vain. Oh, no. The Lord's got something special for you, my friend. So just bide your time and become more like Jesus while you're waiting.